say thank you to Angharad for asking me to be her bridesmaid today. And on her behalf, I'd like to thank everyone who's made it here, especially those of you who have flown all the way from New Zealand. It really is amazing how far people are willing to travel for free food and drink. Now, as you heard earlier from our wonderful MC today, I've had a good relationship with Annie since we were kids. We spent all of our summer holidays camping in West Wales together, and over the years we've grown to be friends and not just family members. And one of the reasons that I've come to think of Annie as being one of my nearest and dearest friends is because she is simply the happiest person I've ever met. You can always tell how Angharad is feeling by the size of the smile on her face. And the good news for you, Charlie, is that I don't think there's been a single second today when she hasn't been grinning from ear to ear. You've also heard earlier about the drinking regime that Angharad and I embarked upon when we lived together in London in 2011. Every Friday night without fail, no matter how busy we'd been all week, how many dates Angharad had been on, we'd get ourselves ready for a good night out in London together. To say that Annie was on the hunt for a man that year would be an understatement. It's all over now, Tim.
I didn't know that.
No, in reality, Annie would always protest that she was too tired to go out. And she did have quite a bad habit for some months of falling asleep on nightclub toilets. And it would take me and the barman over half an hour to find her. But luckily, she did develop much better stamina than that. She was most of the time the last man standing wherever we went. The only person I've ever seen trying to wrestle musical instruments away from band members that we'd been to see, so she could play them instead. None of them really believing that the horn could be a serious musical instrument. And the only person I've ever seen grinning from ear to ear, as she is now, at 3 o'clock in the morning in a greasy kebab shop, eating fried chicken. All these years she spent now living in the high country in New Zealand made me slightly worried that she will have lost her fried chicken addiction, but the hen do made me realise that that wasn't the case. It was glamorous. One of our fateful nights out together led to Angharad and Charlie meeting each other. We'd been to the Rugby Sevens tournament in Twickenham, and we were wearing 70s fancy dress. Now, we Brits like to tease the Kiwis for their bad sense of dress and them being far behind us in the fashion stakes. But I really had no idea that Charlie would find Angharad attractive wearing flares and an afro wig. Unfortunately, that was the first time that they met each other, but there's no spectacular story, or there might have been, but none of us can remember it. We were all a bit worse for wear. So the memorable moment for me came a week later when Angharad and Charlie arranged their first date. Now, for some reason, I was invited along as well. I hadn't been a very successful wingman up until that point, so I'm not sure why I made the cut. But Charlie had one of his co-working farmers with him, so they asked me to go along. We met up with them both in Hampstead Heath Park in London, and it was a boiling hot day, not dissimilar to this actually. So me and Annie decided to go for a swim in the pond before the boys arrived. Now, most girls, before going on a date, and this may have been why she was so unsuccessful for so long, would, have a wash, put on some makeup, maybe some perfume, but we came out of these ponds and we were covered in green and brown slime. And I said to Annie, we can't go and meet these guys smelling like this. She said, no, you'll be fine. Rinse yourself off with a bit of cold water and they will never know. I think she was preparing herself for the realities of being a high country farm wife. All day I found it really difficult to gauge whether or not Angharad was really into Charlie, whether she liked him, whether she fancied him. None of us could really understand his accent. We didn't really know what he was saying to us. But something I saw later on that night made me realise that they were a match for each other. We were all on the dance floor in this busy bar, and initially I thought Charlie was having a stroke. But I later came to learn that he was doing a legendary Kiwi dance move known as sheep shearing, pretending to shear sheep on the dance floor. It was quite spectacular in the middle of London. I hope he can show you the same move again tonight.
You show us,
I'll try, Kay. I'll try. We always suspected that Angharad might end up bagging a man who lives on the other side of the world, particularly because as a teenager, Angharad used to worship a Dan Carter calendar. A homemade Dan Carter calendar, I should add. But now that she does live on the other side of the world, we're all gutted that we've lost her from Wales. And I'd like to say a special thanks to the Johns for welcoming her so warmly into their family. And on a personal level, I'd also like to thank the Johns for the excellent hospitality they showed to me and Charlie, long-suffering Charlie, when we visited at Christmas. But seriously, our trip to Glenthorne really made me realise quite how well suited they are for each other. And I've never seen Angharad happier. So I'm very pleased to see them getting married today. And at least, Angharad, this is it. The hunt is over. The next adventure for the pair of them will be their honeymoon. Now, I'm slightly confused about where they're going. Angharad told me they were going to Italy, but this morning I overheard Charlie saying he was going to Bangor for a week. Thank you very much, everyone. Please to stay standing and raise your glasses. To Charlie and Angharad, Mr. and Mrs. Johns, wish you all the best of luck for the future. Good luck, Charlie and Annie.